Do you get hit with a wave of anxiety when you hear zoning, permits? Like, where do I go? And who do I talk to? And how do I even start? Don't you worry. I'm going to show you how I easily look up zoning for any property and a much faster way to find property to buy that is zoned just the way you want.
We talk a lot about land hacking and building equity through things like unique builds, remodels, and even glam sites. But all of that success and ability all hangs on one tiny little thread called zoning and permits, which is also important, but it's not the focal point of this video. So be sure to subscribe and hit that bell button if you want to see more videos just like this. And then the next one, maybe the next couple videos, I will do one on permits. And don't forget to zone and permit that like button and help me out with the YouTube gods. I really appreciate it. Thank you. Across the United States and probably across every other country out there, there are literally thousands, maybe even tens of thousands of different counties and cities with different jurisdictions. I don't know why that was so hard to say. Different jurisdictions. But with that said, there are three key parts to any type of zone. There's a zone map, use table, and standards. The zoning map looks something like this and differentiates use and density. Think about a standard single-family home versus a multifamily home, like a duplex or a quadplex. And the use table is basically a table that's very basic that lists out pretty much everything that you can and can't do in each particular zone. Think about like opening an oil processing plant in the middle of a neighborhood. Probably not allowed. And the last one is standards, which basically regulates the structures or uses of the property, such as setbacks, structure size, height, all that good stuff. First step, go to your county's zoning page. Find the county's interactive zoning or GIS map, also known as the Geographic Information Systems map. Find the piece of land that you're looking for. Usually an address is going to be the fastest way of doing this. Click on that lot of land and it should give you all the public information of that piece of property, including the zoning. Step 5, find the use table, which is usually under the zoning ordinance or zoning code PDF on the website. Step 6, find your zone and see if what you're trying to do is allowed. Step 7, if no, pass on that piece of property, move on to the next. If yes, move on to step 8, which is dig into the standards for your specific zone, which usually is in that same PDF under zoning ordinance or zoning code. Whew, okay, let me show you now. But before I do, make sure you head over to my website where you can download all my free guides and spreadsheets on how I find land and how I run and analyze deals before I jump into them. You can also find a link there or just down below to my personal calendar where you can set up a consultation time with me one-on-one or even in group setting, where we can go over zoning, permits, financing, red flags, and everything else, and in between, buying new land, building, or even doing glam sites. So in my consultations, I've had a lot of questions about Williams, Arizona, which is Coconino County, near the Grand Canyon. And they also happen to have actually a really good website. So in today's example, we're using Coconino County. Shout out to all my Grand Canyon hosts. So the first thing that we do is pull up Coconino County's official site just by typing it into Google. It'll usually be the first 2 links. Click on that. Now, one thing of note is that there are literally thousands of counties across the United States, like I said before, and each county is handled very differently. Some counties are still using web pages designed and made in the early 2000s. That's no joke, they're out there. Now, counties use all different types of verbiage and terminology to really describe the same thing. So I see zoning ordinance already right here. So I'm going to open that in another tab just for now, and we'll jump back into that here in a bit. But I really want to click here on maps. So like I said before, this county is really organized and has a really good website. But what we are looking for is either a GIS, remember Geographical Information Systems map, or a parcel viewer, or parcel map, which is right here. These typically will open up an interactive map, and that's typically what we're looking for, of the entire area or county that you're in. Now I'm going to zoom into an area just for demonstration purposes. And as I'm doing this, I just want to make sure that my zoning is turned on under layers. Now this is your Library of Alexandria, the ancient world when it comes to understanding zoning. So let's zoom in here and look at a property. You can see the zoning and how it's differentiated by zone and density. But if your map doesn't show this overlay because your county is different, we can just click on the plot of land and see it in the details. And that's it. So one really popular thing that I tout a lot on this channel is adding multiple doors onto a single site, whether it be ADUs and guest homes or even a glam site. But before we do that, we have to check and make sure that that's legal and that we can do it. And the reason why we want to do that is because we don't want to go through all this effort, go through the financing, go through the permitting, and then buying this piece of property and then realize that we can't do it because it's not zoned properly. Please don't make that mistake. So now we pull up the zoning ordinance PDF that we found earlier. These PDFs will most likely hold all of your answers, and you want to find this first before calling the zoning and planning department. If you want to be on the good side of your zoning department, definitely do your research first and then call them with very direct, specific questions. Next is in this PDF is to find the use tables. You can easily look this up in the table of contents or just scrolling through until you find something that looks like this. Here you'll typically find 4 different identifiers. P means it's permittable, which means it's allowed. P asterisk means it's permittable with administrative permit. Just a dash means it's strictly prohibited, not allowed at all. And C, or sometimes you'll see S, means a conditional or special use permit is required. So I know the land I'm looking at is general zoning, which is right here. And I'm looking for accessory dwelling in either an RV park or a campground designation. So we basically just start scrolling. I know, you see this? Bed and breakfast right here? That's allowed in general zone. That's a huge way to help protect your business. We'll get more into that in another video. Here's that RV trailer designation. Looks like you may even be able to do this with an administrative permit. Think of Airstreams and trailers. Not too bad. Tiny home on a fixed foundation here. Nice. Now this is super interesting. Ag tourism is kind of the unicorn of zoning. Check out my video here, my friend Cass, who took ag tourism zoning to the absolute limit, is now making between $50,000 to $100,000 each month with her ag tourism 8.5 acres. An amazing thing what she's doing down there. But it looks like here it's a conditional use permit, so you do have some hoops to jump through and it is not guaranteed. Okay, so here are campgrounds. Good news, bad news. Good news is that campgrounds seem to be only available for general zoning and not allowed in any of the other residential uses. However, it does require a conditional use permit. This is where I'll start looking at other non-residential zoning such as commercial, but it's nice to see that we could apply for a special use or conditional use permit to get the campground designation that we're looking for. But let's see if ADUs are a yay or nay for this type of property. So great news, we can build an ADU in general zoning. And if you click on this link, it'll take you to the standards and give you all the details of building out an ADU on your property. And like I said, this is the part of the zoning that regulates the size of structures, setbacks, and all that good stuff on that piece of property before you can even start building your ADU. Very important details to know before you buy the property, obviously. Okay, you made it this far. Kudos to you. I appreciate that. High five. You now get the real secrets. Most people who start looking for property to buy, they search by 3 criteria: price, structure or type, location. Wrong. You need to search only by zoning in the beginning. We can filter and search by all those other criteria later on down the road, but zoning is the most critical and the only thing that we care about. So what we do is we go back to that interactive map. Remember that GIS or that parcel viewer map? That's where we go to. And we make sure that the zoning is turned back on. What we do next is we look at only for zones that allows us to do what we're looking to do. It allows us to do what we're looking to do. I think that makes sense. In this case, we're gonna use ag residential and general as our examples here. Now I can see on this map, AR5, not a weapon, and G are represented by this yellow and gray color. Now, when I go searching for property on Zillow, Redfin, or whatever website you want to look for land on, I am highlighting and just looking in these specific areas. I don't care about any other area, regardless of price, size, what a great deal it is. I only care about these areas here. This will greatly increase your effectiveness at searching and help filter through and make things a lot easier for you to make sure that you can buy the right piece of land and property to do what it is that you want to do, which typically means making money. Now, if you found that at all helpful, I think that you'll find my guides and free spreadsheets helpful right here. And no, I'm not gonna spam you or sell your information to some evil government entity. It's only strictly for me to use when I release new guides and when I release finally my real estate rental program later on this summer. You'll probably get an email from me at most once every other month. And if you wanna speak with me directly and get some guidance on buying land, building a glam site, building a container home, or anything else that's related to real estate entrepreneurship, hit me up down below. My calendar's right down there, or you can go to my website and calendar's there too. And for sure, if you made it this far, be sure to subscribe to the channel, hit that like button. Other than that, I love you guys all. I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace out. No. Not your business voice.
Okay.
Do you get hit with a wave of anxiety?
That's what I did the first time.
Try it again.
All right. Do you get hit with a wave of anxiety? Actually, I'm gonna try to do it like you. Yeah.
All right.
I'm caught.
Okay, stop me. Okay, thanks, babe.
I'm a surfer.
You're what?
Hi, I'm Kai. I'm a surfer. I like to like pump up my muscles, flex veins.
What? I don't do that. Don't say that.
I do look like the person from the drug commercial. Actually, this is even worse. You know, it's not. I kind of look cool. Do I not look cool?